My fear is that many in the media have, unfortunately, but hopefully just temporarily, moved on in terms of their focus on the push for more gun control that was recently birthed by the terrible shooting at the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. But that movement does continue. There's the March for Our Lives bus tour that's going on all around the country to both push for new legislation and also to register new voters. But not everyone is in favor of it, especially some in the Republican Party. And joining us now to discuss some of that pushback is Fred Guttenberg, who tragically lost his 14-year-old daughter, Jamie, in that shooting at the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. Thank you for joining us, Fred.
How are you?
So you recently had an interaction on social media with Javier Manjarres, who's running for Congress, after you pushed back against a pro-gun meme, I believe that Dana Loesch had tweeted. And he said to you, come on, Fred, I can't only imagine the pain you are feeling over the loss of your daughter, but stop exploiting her death in the name of some political agenda. Your daughter was shot by some lunatic who had an AR-15, not by the gun itself. You hadn't even mentioned him in the tweet, so it seems a little bit unnecessary. How did you react to what he said?
He is typical of the insanity that we face when you say we ought to do something about gun violence in this country. And so I did react to him. I look at him like a troll. And on occasion, I retweet what trolls say to me with my comments so the rest of the world can see it. And I did that with him. And I let him know that I looked forward to defeating him, that I look forward to watching his effort to become a congressman in my district fail. I also reminded people that he is actually someone who has been accused of gun violence in the past. I didn't post articles, I left that up for other people, but the facts are he has a history with violence, and he is calling me out for fighting for the safety of others so that no other parent, family, or friend needs to go through what we're going through. Listen, nothing brings my kid back, but guys like him, I'll never stop fighting them. That mentality needs to stop. That mentality, which has been sowing chaos on our streets, we need to call it out. I think in years past and after previous tragedies, when guys like him would say things like that, people backed off. We're not backing off this time.
Yeah, look, I've definitely noticed since maybe the weekend after the shooting, when a number of both the students and the parents were outspoken and passionate and were actually receiving coverage by the media, which all too often just isn't, they're no longer that engaged. The pushback was just brutal on social media from some right-wingers, some pro-gun people. And so I wonder, in terms of the ferocity of that, like it seems like they want to pick fights with you, and to some extent that's not even necessarily dying down. Do you think that their attempts to criticize you, to say that you're exploiting, all of that, to what extent do you think is that in any way a genuine pro-gun position, or is this just about firing up their base or silencing you?
Actually, I think they're out of arguments, is what it comes down to. I've seen since February, there was the effort to actually argue on the merits of what common sense gun safety is, and that failed. It became personal then after that. When it became personal, for example, Ali North calling myself and others criminal civil terrorists, and we didn't back down and we went after it, they then started going after my kid and my relationship with my kid. And that's where the exploitation thing came from. And you could see it was a coordinated effort because I got a lot of messages like that within a few hours. So you knew it was a targeted, coordinated effort. I'll be real candid with you. It just exposes them. I have no problem with them showing who they are. If they think they are going to intimidate me, what you need to understand, all I think about 24/7 is my daughter running down the hallway knowing there was an active shooter at her back who was going to kill her. That's fear. That's anxiety. I'll never, ever, ever feel what she felt, but it's all they have left. They're just showing how empty they are.
And I obviously can't imagine either, and I'm incredibly sorry for your loss. So you mentioned some of the attacks against you. I know that there have been, in the immediate aftermath and since, there have been conspiracy theories about especially some of the kids. There have been attempts to label David Hogg as a Nazi, or Emma Gonzalez, she's not actually of Cuban descent. So there's these conspiracy theories and even death threats in some cases. Have you been the target of any sort of intimidation like that?
I think all of those of us who've become active have had threats. What's interesting is earlier on when they happened, we had some of them investigated, and the threats weren't even coming from within this country. Police were tracing it, and they were coming from people outside of this country posing as Americans using fake profiles. So even their effort to threaten was based on just BS. They're trying to scare us into shutting up, and it's not going to work. All of these kids who were talking out, who were in that school, who heard those bullets, who watched friends die. This effort now to intimidate us, it doesn't. Listen, I don't get my kid back. Nothing changes that, but I'm not going away. I won't go away until we fix this, so no other family goes through it. They can threaten, they can say, they can troll, they can harass online, because that's really all they've got. Whatever. We're going to do what we got to do.
So what is your goal at this point? I know you're pushing for an orange wave. What are you hoping to see accomplished in the immediate future, this year in the elections?
Listen, I've gone about this in a really nonpartisan way. I've worked with Republicans and Democrats. I've met with New Jersey Governor Murphy. I've been with Ohio Governor Kasich. I've spoken with Congressman Brian Mass. I've been with Congressman Ted Deutsch. However, the reality is the only way to fix this is to change the leadership in the House and the Senate in this election. And because we currently have a leadership in place who simply has just decided they'll do nothing. And to change that leadership, we need a massive voter turnout for those who support common sense gun safety and who are going to force a new set of leaders to do something about it. The Orange Wave in November is all about turning out people to vote and make common sense gun safety their #1 issue. It's also about getting dads to step up. The kids have been amazing. They've been vocal, they've been organized, they've been doing amazing work. Moms have been really active and vocal. Dads have not been as much so. So my Orange Wave in November is an effort to get dads to step up and commit to voting for gun safety also, and to be vocal about doing it. And I'm asking dads to go ahead across the country and do a video using the color orange. They can go to my website and print out all the materials and see what the steps are, but to do a unique video and then tag #OrangeWave in November and talk about their commitment to voting for common sense gun safety and voting orange. I'm trying to make it the modern version of the Ice Bucket Challenge, and between now and Election Day, I'd like to get 1 million videos. We've got some really amazing things. Just the past few days, Peter Yarrow of Peter, Paul, and Mary rewrote Puff the Magic Dragon, the old classic, and to a new version based upon what happened here in Parkland and my call for the Orange Wave. We've gotten some really amazing things done across the country with the videos, but we have a lot of videos to get done between now and Election Day to get to 1 million, and I'm hoping dads step up.
Well, thank you very much for your activism. Obviously, this is an issue that for far too long, only people who are pro-gun have really voted based on it. There needs to be some sort of counterweight to that. So thank you for your push.
This November, just watch.
I hope so. Well, hopefully, maybe we can check back in closer to the election and see how the push for the Orange Wave is going.
I would love to do that.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for watching that video. Before you move on to the next, I just wanted to let you know I have a documentary series out. It's called True North, available on Go90, and now you can help get it nominated for a Streamy as a documentary series. The link is down below. Thank you so much.